Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for joining us on a Wednesday. Hello, baby. How you doing?
Hello, I'm super. How are you?
Fantastic. For those of you who are maybe new to listening to this program, this is my wife, Heidi. That's why I call her baby every time we come on the radio. Just the first break. After that, I don't. But I had somebody that like, wow, you're going to get in trouble if you keep calling her baby. She's my wife. What am I supposed to call her? Schnookums? Sweet pea?
Heidi.
Heidi? That would work, too.
That works.
Hey, remember there was trying to think of the see you later alligator. Is that what they always said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what this lady was saying. There was an alligator in her house.
Whoa.
It was a 3-foot alligator. The story says it was only 3 feet long. Only 3 feet long? That's plenty.
Yeah, that's pretty big when you're...
And I guess alligators can be like 6, 7, 8 feet long, but this thing here was a 3-footer. Candy Fry said she wasn't taking any chances. The reptile came into her home just east of Bradenton, Florida, and tried to attack her golden retriever.
Oh.
Yeah, so Fry went a little bonkers. She went and got her gun. She said, "You are
exactly
not."
What I would have done.
And she shoot him over to the doggy door in which he came through the first time, and he went back out. Once he got back outside, she blasted and shot him 4 times. Neighbors called deputies, and the state sent out a wildlife officer to investigate things. The alligator barely bled from gunshots to the neck and the shoulder. Fry said the wildlife officer put the alligator back in the lake, and then the deputy gave her a warning citation for what? Hunting without a license.
That is such a bunch of crap.
Not a fan of this, Heidi?
So if you shoot a burglar, are you hunting without a license?
I don't know. But there was an alligator. Maybe it's because it was already outside when she shot it. Because if there's a burglar in your house and you shoot the burglar in your house, that's one thing. But if you chase them outside and as they're running away, you shoot them, that is bad.
I would still shoot them.
You drag them back in the house then. You're going to get arrested if you don't. Where'd you shoot them? In the kitchen. Why is it there's bloodshot outside? Apparently I have a really good gun. I don't know. Now, deputies gave Fry a warning for hunting without a license. I can tell you right now, I'm glad that I'm not in a situation where we would have that. We don't have a lot of alligators in my neighborhood, so I don't think we would have an alligator come through. We don't have a doggy door either, and I don't know that I would want one.
I really wouldn't mind having one.
Only way I would do it is if it was only open to like an area that was fenced in. Because if it's not, any neighborhood dog could come in, couldn't they?
Well, they could.
I just never understood how that whole situation worked. And if you have a doggy door, I saw Home Alone. People can climb through those.
Be handy if we lock ourselves out of the house. We can have our son shimmy through.
Can you imagine me trying to shimmy through? We better have a big dog. All right, thanks for listening on a Wednesday. It's the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVWheelator.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
If you ever have your purse stolen, don't do this. 2 West Virginia women unwittingly gave their PIN numbers to
the person
people who stole their purses.
Oh, my gosh.
They said it was the bank that was calling. Hi, I'm with, and it's got the name of the bank right on the credit card. I'm calling and just need to confirm your PIN number.
Oh,
they
my
gave them
gosh.
the PIN number, and then they used their cards. So don't do that. Yeah, if you ever have your purse stolen, first thing you do is you call your bank and you turn those things off. So that way, if they're trying to call you, well, they're already going to know that it's turned off. So you don't do that. Hey, over here in Wakefield, England, environmental health officials are investigating a fish and chip stand because of a report that it smelled like fish. Let me rephrase this. I want to just make sure I say it again. They're investigating a fish and chip stand because it smells like fish. What is it supposed to smell like?
Yeah.
More like chips, maybe? I have no clue. Isn't that just the dumbest thing? Yeah,
well, sometimes
I just
there
really
just
think
are no words.
There's something fishy going on down there. It smells a lot like fish. Where is it again? The fish and chip stand.
Wow.
Oh, Oh, see, as long as dumb people keep doing dumb things, we will always have stuff to talk
We will
about.
have a job.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening on a Wednesday. It's the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Have you ever gotten lost in the community in which you live? Like where you live in a town, but you're like, wow, I don't even know where I am. I've never been to this part of town.
Not in the
I've done
community
that.
that we live.
I've done it.
I have in the community that's like close to
But
us.
I mean,
that's
like when we first
larger.
moved to a community, I've gotten lost. I'm like, I have no idea. Oh, hey, now I know where I'm at. Have you ever gotten lost in your own neighborhood?
No.
No. How about, have you ever gotten lost in your own home?
No.
Well, the most geographically challenged person in the world just might be Hank Breyer. He's a 25-year-old Minneapolis resident. He has a rare medical condition. He was born without a sense of direction. He says, I can't go around the block without getting completely lost. He said, I had to move out of my one-bedroom apartment into a small studio because I could never find the bathroom in time. It got pretty gross. Jeremy Streets, a neurologist who has treated Breyer, says, I've never seen anything like Breyer's condition before. We tend to think that people have 5 senses: taste, touch, smell, sight, and hearing. But we also have another sense we never think of. It's the sense of direction. For some reason, Harry was born without the sense of direction. Street said that Breyer's condition is due to the fact that his parents were Arctic explorers, and he happened to be...
Wouldn't you think you would have a better sense of direction?
But it says here, he happened to be born exactly on the North Pole. So he was born on the North Pole, therefore he has no sense of direction.
I'm going to call big old BS on that one. I'm sorry.
This is from the Weekly World News, so you know it's true. Is anything in that ever true?
Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh, that was such a good story until I just saw where it came from. That's like, I have a great sense of humor, I think. And there's a news organization called The Onion.
Yes.
I hate The Onion. And here's why. Because I'm so gullible, I believe it all the time. I'm reading, I'm like, oh, wow, look at that. Then you see, oh, it's from The Onion. No, it's not even true. So then I read it, and then I commit to memory that happened when it didn't really happen.
Right.
So I hope I didn't just tell people.
I like to read satire.
Yeah, but the problem is, then I don't know if it's real or not. So did any of this stuff really happen? Do you think this guy was really born on the North Pole?
I think it probably really happened, but I think he's
so?
full of baloney.
I don't know. No baloney in sight. I have no clue. Thank you so much for listening on a Wednesday. It's the John and Heidi Show.
This is John Stossel. Anything that makes it harder for you to speak limits your life. So if you or someone you know stutters, you can call the Stuttering Foundation for help. 800-992-9392.
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Not every community has their own slogan. Like Las Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Right.
New York. I heart NY.
Right.
But Pineville, Louisiana might have a new slogan. Don't drink our water.
Okay.
According to the report, 60 homes in Pineville drank water that was contaminated by sewage for about 3 months because city workers accidentally connected a sewer line to a water pipe.
They couldn't tell?
Don't know. Maybe their water is not good in the first place. But they had a pipe that was going out that got connected to a water pipe that was coming in. City officials are saying that health risks were minimal. However, because chlorine is in the water and it killed most of the bacteria.
Ew.
As you might guess, residents of those homes are not too happy.
Oh, I'm sure.
The problem has now been taken care of, but just to let you know how bad it was, one resident's washing machine, dishwasher, and refrigerator ice maker were clogged with toilet paper.
Ew.
Yeah, that's how bad it was.
Disgusting.
So the pipe going out got hooked to a pipe coming in. That's never good in any situation. That would make me want to.
You would think it would smell.
I'm sure it did. They're probably complaining.
It would be discolored when you're pouring.
I'm sure that people were complaining, but they're going, I don't know what you're talking about. No, everything's fine. And then finally, after months, somebody came out and looked. They're like, oh, yeah.
After several phone calls,
3
people
months.
saying, this water tastes like
You can't say that, Heidi. You cannot say that. What is wrong with you? At least now they do know what that does taste like. 3 months it was like that. City
That
workers
is disgusting.
finally got that fixed. And I'm going to go wash her mouth out with soap. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Time now for the scoop of the day, brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. If you'd like to shave like a rock star, you can do the one that I do. It's just $9 a month. That includes the shipping and everything. And it is the best razor. I'm not even kidding. I'm not just saying this because we're promoting it. When I got these, how excited was I?
Oh, you were doing cartwheels.
Oh, it was awesome. They are the nicest razors I've ever had in my life. And it's $9 a month, and they ship them right to my door.
To be fair, your other razors I was buying at Dollar Tree. So, I mean, when you're comparing the two, it's not really apples
And it wasn't
to
like you were
apples.
paying $1 a razor. You're paying $1 for a pack of 12
Like
of them.
10.
And
Pack of 10.
I'd be halfway through shaving, and I'd have to, okay, I'm done with that one now. And so I finally took it into my own hands. I said, I am done with these razors that you've been buying me. And I switched over to the Dollar Shave Club. And I absolutely love it. I've got several of my friends that are doing it now because I was telling them how awesome it is. And they're like,
And the
fine.
price is still pretty amazing.
I'll check it out. It is. It's very cool. You can do the twins for $1 a month, and then it's $2 shipping. Or you can hook up for, like I said, the big one is $9 a month. And I said, you know what? I'm going to shave like a billionaire just to see what it's like. I've never had nice razors. They're really good. And I just started getting the twins because I said, you know what? I'm going to try those just to see. And they're really good too. dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, the scoop of the day. A policy by Florida educators sets student goals in math and reading based on their race. By 2018, Florida's Department of Education wants 90% of its Asian students to be reading at or above grade level compared to just 88% of white students, or 81% of Hispanic pupils, or 74% of African American children. Yeah, this is in Florida.
That is ridiculous.
I don't exactly understand how that's even possible in this day and age.
And shouldn't everybody be reading at grade
You'd
level? That's
think
not a
so.
real high goal.
We'd like you to be at least at grade level. 90% of you at least.
Oh, my God.
That's happening. That is happening right now in Florida. So there you go. Following a town hall style meeting this week, a young woman from the University of Nevada shouted at Jeb Bush, "Your brother created ISIS." So apparently George Bush is to blame for that too. Also in the news with former Florida governor and current GOP presidential candidate Jeb Bush. According to a story here, it says that he said he would have gone into Iraq if he was president at 23. Then he retracted that answer on Fox News saying, "I misheard the question. I would not have gone into Iraq." So he may have or may not have gone into Iraq.
Oh, good Lord.
North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un reportedly had a defense minister executed. You know why?
Why?
He fell asleep.
He fell asleep. I read this.
Yeah.
He fell asleep during the meeting.
Fell asleep during one of Kim Jong-un's speeches.
Yeah.
Guy dozed off, and they're like, you know what? You're going to get plenty of sleep now. You're done for. That's just kind of weird. A new study at the University of Dusseldorf in Germany has concluded that young women are better able to cope with stress than young men. Women are better at stress than men, according to a study from Dusseldorf. I just wanted to say Dusseldorf again. Fish oil capsules won't help boost weight loss if you're already dieting and exercising. It says here, new research in the American Journal of the Clinical Nutrition shows that among a group of overweight and obese adults enrolled in a diet and exercise program, those who took omega-3 fatty acids didn't lose any more weight than those given a placebo capsule. I didn't know they were saying that that would help you lose weight. I thought they were saying that that was good for you for health reasons, but not necessarily about losing weight. I haven't taken my fish oil in a while.
I don't take it.
That's why I have such squeaky fish.
Oh, my gosh.
The Irish have begun burying people with their cell phones. So they'll have a way to call if they're not really dead. This is a problem there, apparently. They bury people, and then they find out later that they weren't dead.
They were just passed out.
Apparently. So they're burying them with cell phones now. That is crazy.
Aren't they embalmed?
I don't know. They must not do that. If they do, they must not do a good job of it. Then again, if they drink enough, they kind of embalm themselves, really, I think.
He's pickled.
A car washer in England claims to offer the very best car washes in the world. And he should, because he charges $9,000 for a car wash.
Whoa.
The 61-stage wash uses purified water, towels imported from Australia, a Brazilian wax. That's on your car, I think. Does he do a Brazilian wax on you
Apparently.
too? It costs $12,000 per tube for the wax. So he goes through quite a bit of that on each car wash. $9,000 a car. That is nuts.
You know, it'd be funny to bring in like a rust bucket, like a
there you go. Car that's worth $1,000, $500.
1979 rusted out pickup or something.
Gremlin.
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious.
I used to have a Gremlin, so I'm not making fun of you. I'm making fun of me more than
And
anything.
I'm assuming he asks for payment in advance. 'Cause
Probably.
he'd go through all the work and then.
Yeah, $9,000 a car.
Wow.
And we're going to end things today with our strange law. No doubt you've seen bathtubs with the popular four-legged design that look like animal paws, right?
Yes.
You've seen claw tubs, whatever. In Kansas City, Missouri, the installation of a bathtub design is against the law.
Huh.
Odd, yes, but just as odd, in Minnesota, it requires all bathtubs to have those feet. So if you buy one in Kansas City, Missouri with those feet, it's against the law. If you buy a tub in Minnesota without those feet, it's against the law. So, yes. It's a law on the books in Minnesota, and that's a law on the books in
Might
Missouri.
be on the books, but it's not.
Maybe not
practice.
enforced. I don't know. How would you,
I've been to Minnesota.
Wait a minute. Where are your bathtub feet? Apparently, that's the way things work there. It's how they roll. All right. Thank you for listening to our Scoop of the Day, brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Check them out and get your razors at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Thank you so much for joining us on a Wednesday. I've got a special guest on the telephone line today. I'm going to be visiting with author Steve Martini, New York Times best-selling author, and he's got a new book out called The Enemy Inside. Joining us on the phone right now, Steve Martini. Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. Appreciate being here.
Thank you so much for joining us. And again, the book, The Enemy Inside, this is available. Is it available right now, or is it coming out soon? It is available right now.
Both as an ebook and as a printed book at every major bookseller in the country, a lot of independents. So, it is available.
Very, very nice. And we'll tell everybody here at towards the end again where they can purchase the book as well. But let's talk about The Enemy Inside. What was the inspiration for this particular book?
Well, the main subplot, or the main principal plot, in this book basically dealt with a story that broke a couple of years ago, and that is the hidden offshore assets of American taxpayers in numbered accounts offshore. And I followed that story. I'm sort of a news junkie, so I read in detail all the things that transpired around that story over a period of time. And there were some news threads that indicated that it may not have been just simple taxpayers. There may have been some powerful politicians who had numbered accounts offshore as well, which raised all kinds of interesting questions, but was never developed because, I would say, because of interference on the part of the federal government. They didn't want that story developed. In any event, I took the threads of that news story basically and fictionalized and embellished around them and created this novel. So that's the principal driving force behind this story, because it raises questions. If there are people who have numbered private accounts, members of Congress, for example, the question is, who's paying those people? Where does the money come from, and what's it for? Okay, raising all kinds of policy questions, which is quite topical given what's going on in the news right now with regard to a certain presidential candidate. But the inside story is that's the main principal plot, and then there are numerous other subplots that basically fill in around it. A lot of them dealing with technology, cutting-edge technology for self-driving cars and other things. Yeah.
Again, our guest this morning is author Steve Martini with the book The Enemy Inside, and it's really fun. I've got a copy of your book here that we're going to be giving away, but as I was reading on the back cover, some very nice accolades from a lot of different places, and one of the, where does the one go here? It says, Mr. Martini knows how to spin a tale. He doesn't lard his books with leaden prose. As I was reading this, I was thinking, I need someone to explain to me what they just said. But everything that was on here was just very, very, very flattering, and folks are really liking this book. Now, how many other books do you have out, Mr. Martini?
I've written a total of 16 novels, 13 of them in the Madriani series. 2 of them were picked up for television miniseries, one on CBS, one on NBC. And I've written 1 novella and a couple of short stories. So, the body of work is basically 16 novels.
And this is the latest, again, is The Enemy Inside. Now, what inspired you to become a writer? Is this something that you've always wanted to do, or did you just decide one day that, hey, I'm gonna try something new? How long have you been writing? A while, it sounds.
Yeah, I have. I've been writing almost a quarter of a century now. I started out as a newspaper reporter, journalist, in Los Angeles at first, and then Sacramento at the state capitol. So I've covered politics for a number of years. For about a decade, I was a journalist. And then I went to law school at night, passed the bar, and practiced law for 17 years. But I always missed the writing, so I started writing fiction on the side, basically, weekends, nights, holidays, whenever I got time off. And wrote my first novel. It was picked up and sold to a publisher in a very short order. And the second novel broke me out and landed on the New York Times list. So I was lucky in a lot of ways. Timing's everything in life. And I was coming out just about the same time, or a few months after John Grisham published The Firm. So that was a lawyer's holiday, basically. A lot of us were breaking out at that point. And so that's basically my history.
Very nice. Now, if there are young authors that are listening, what kind of advice do you give to somebody that's aspiring to be an author?
Mm-hmm. Probably 2 things. One is to write. That is to hone your craft, stay with it, don't give up. The other is to develop a good ear for your own writing. Be able to read, in some cases, aloud to yourself and hear what you're writing. Read the dialogue critically. Become your own best critic, in some cases your own worst critic. The more critical you are of yourself, and the more you do to polish your prose and improve your writing, the better chance you have that when you send it off to an editor in New York or to an agent, that it's going to find a market.
Very nice. Again, our guest this morning is Steve Martini, the author of The Enemy Inside. Now, if I have not been reading the rest of the series, is it going to be confusing if I pick up from here? Are there some books that I should be reading before I get to The Enemy Inside?
Nope, not at all. You can pick up with this book. It'll stand alone. You can figure it out, and you can backfill behind it by reading the other earlier stories. Pick and choose what you want. No, by and large, the books do not need to be read in any order. They're standalone stories, complete from beginning to end. There are 3 books before this that are a trilogy, but even those books can be read independently of one another. So you need not read. They're basically pretty much final stories as you read them.
So you can pick it up from this, and then when you fall in love with that, you go back and get the other ones as well.
Correct. Yep.
Very, very nice. And now, what do we have in store after The Enemy Inside? Is this I'm assuming, is probably not the last book in the series, is it? Do you have some exciting things to come?
I'm contracted 3 more Madriani books at present, so I'm already working on the next. So it's a continuing process. I took a little bit of time off between the trilogy that finished and this book, and so I've had my vacation, and I'm back in the saddle writing again.
And you've got how many additionals beyond this? You said you had a contract for some others as well?
A contract for 3 more.
So 3 more. All right. So when they read this and fall in love, they know that your appetite for more is going to be fulfilled.
Yes, and they can go back and pick up on the back list. You can find it all at stevemartini.com. My website lists the entire series, lists them in order. It lists the short stories, the novella, so everything that I've written basically is laid out there. They can be bought at any major bookstore, either independent or chain, and they're also ebooks, so you can purchase them online and send them to a Whisper or whatever and read it in digital form.
Very nice. And again, our guest this morning has been Steve Martini. Now, do you ever have it where people get you confused with Steve Martin? Does that ever happen?
Only with my agent in New York. Steve Martin and I share literary agent in New
Really?
York, and I've gotten his mail. I don't know if he's gotten mine, but they haven't asked me to do the Academy Awards yet.
Well, I would say it's just with one letter difference in there. I just wondered
That's right.
I thought that'd be kind of interesting, and it's funny that you have the same agent even. That's amazing.
Yes.
Well, thank you again for taking some time to visit with us this morning, and we're going to encourage everybody to get out and pick up a copy of The Enemy Inside. We've got a copy that we're going to give away. We'll give you all the details on that here in a little while. But, Steve, thank you again for sharing a little bit of your time with us this morning. I know you've got a lot of calls letting folks know about this, so we're going to let you get to the next one. But thank you again for being with us today.
Very good. Thank you.
And
bye-bye.
And again, our guest this morning has been Steve Martini, the author of the book, The Enemy Inside. If you would like to win your very own copy of this book, I got it right here. It's a hardcover. It's a good-looking book. You can win it if you go to winthisonline.com. It is absolutely free to register if you haven't done that yet. Go on there and register to win. Got all kinds of fun prizes that we post on there and others do as well. The website, once again, is winthisonline.com. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
Hi, it's Jewel and Kelly Pickler. Lung cancer is the #1 cancer killer of women. So we've joined the American Lung Association's Lung Force because it's going to take a force of women to create new hope. Please join us. Fight lung cancer in women at lungforce.org.
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Today's a very special day, Heidi. You know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Wednesday, May the 20th. Today is Elizabeth Doolittle Day.
Do I know who Elizabeth Doolittle is?
No, but I would like to do little today, if that's okay. I really don't feel like that much. Emergency Medical Services for Children's Day today. National Employee Health and Fitness Day. Turn Beauty Inside Out Day. And Weights and Measures Day. I don't know which one of these to celebrate today. So I'm going to do little today, and I'm going to say that I'm celebrating that one. Always something fun right there to find out what special day it is. Coming up here in a bit, we've got a story about Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Got an interesting story there. Also got a story here about where they're going to send their kids. They could either go to Rhode Island or Connecticut, but we'll talk about why they're struggling to decide. And many other fun things. It's all on the way on a Wednesday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVRealtor.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
If you know somebody that's in MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, I hope that you can inform them to listen to this program today, right now, for this story. Call them quick. We'll wait. Okay. Hopefully they're on. Brains on drugs seem to be everywhere, in all organizations. Even groups trying to do good things can actually be affected. The Swedish government's anti-drinking committee decided to make an anti-drinking commercial. It's important to remember that fact. This was supposed to be an anti-drinking commercial. They were in the process of creating the anti-drinking commercial. And what did they do? Well, for realism, they brought some teenagers in. They got them drunk.
Oh, my God.
During the filming, they said it would make the commercial more authentic.
Oh.
So they were trying to tell people not to drink by getting a bunch of teenagers drunk.
Oh, I bet that didn't go over well.
No, that didn't go over well at all. That was in Sweden. So it was a government-funded project in Sweden. So just in case you're involved in any sort of program like that around here, don't do that. That's a bad idea. And I don't think anybody around here would do that. We're way smarter than that. We wouldn't do that kind of thing.
We'd like to think we're way smarter than that.
We are way smarter than that. All right. Coming up, we got a fun story here again about a family has to choose which state to send their kids to school in. It's quite the predicament they're in. We'll chat about that. It's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
The Bliss Family. First of all, I love that name.
That's a great name.
I've got a friend with the last name Bliss, and every time I see it, she sends me emails, and every time I see the email, it makes me smile because I just think, how awesome would that be? Just a happy name.
That's a pretty cool name.
So the Bliss family is trying to figure out what state their kids should go to school in. Should they go to Rhode Island or should they go to Connecticut? Here's why they're wondering. Their house is situated right on the border in 2 states. In fact, half of the family sleeps in Rhode Island. The other half sleeps in Connecticut. In February, the town of Voltown, Connecticut, sent the family a letter telling them that their children, who have been attending the Connecticut school for 11 years, may no longer be able to do so. They claim the family you guys are residents of Rhode Island. Officials in West Greenwich, Rhode Island, also sent the family a letter claiming that they're not required to educate their children because you're residents of Connecticut.
Oh, my God.
But denying children the right to public school is against federal law. The family's lawyers say that under existing law, If a child lives in a house on the border of two towns within the same state, the child is entitled to attend the school in either town. But the kicker of it is that the family pays property taxes to which state, Heidi?
I don't know.
Both. Because
my gosh.
they both claim them when it comes time for taxes.
Oh, of course. Yeah, they all want the money.
Hey, yes, your home is partially in our state. You owe us money. But we don't need to, teach your kids or nothing.
I'd be moving.
So
I can tell you that right now.
I don't understand how the house got built on the border where it's in part of this state and part of that state. I've never seen that before. But
well, I suppose if it's right on the...
There you go.
I mean...
Could be.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's an old house or if they just built it on the border.
I'd be moving.
Because how many lots would you find that are part this and part that? That's just kind of bizarre. Anyway, that's happening right now in Rhode Island and or Connecticut, depending on which way you look at that house.
Wow.
All right, thank you so much for listening on a Wednesday. Got a fun story about a guy that tried to hijack a bus. Didn't work out so hot for him. Also, got a thing from the Huffington Post we're going to chat about. That's all on the way on a Wednesday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
This is John Stossel. Anything that makes it harder for you to speak limits your life. So if you or someone you know stutters, you can call the Stuttering Foundation for help. 800-992-9392.
You're listening to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
This comes from the file of we need a better plan if we're going to do dumb things.
Okay.
This 19-year-old Japanese boy was arrested for hijacking a bus, and he asked them to take him to the exact same place the bus was already going. So he jumped on a bus and said, I demand that you take me to wherever it was. It doesn't say where he was going. I demand that you take me here. And they're like, that's where we're going anyway.
There anyway.
So
now you're going to jail.
So he got arrested for hijacking a bus that was already taking him where he was going. Yeah. Maybe you should look at the sign first, see where we're going. Where's this bus going?
Maybe he didn't have bus fare.
I don't know. He hijacked a bus and took it right where it was going. Oh. Good news is the police knew where to pick him up, right at the bus stop. Do you do your spring cleaning? Is that something we do around here, spring cleaning? Because we kind of just did. We got ready for it. We don't really call it that, do we?
No. Well,
but we just cleaned out our garage, which looks awesome, by the way.
It does.
But we had our son's graduation party, so we get a whole dumpster full of stuff that I didn't even know that we had. But I thought we needed it. And all of a sudden we load a dumpster full of stuff up. I'm like, wow, we got rid of a lot of stuff. But as you do your spring cleaning, the Huffington Post is giving you a reminder about several germ havens that a lot of people forget to clean. Their suggestions include your coffee maker. When's the last time you cleaned your coffee maker?
Oh, my gosh.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
How about your doorknobs? Do you clean your doorknobs, people? Apparently, most people don't. Drawer pulls. The thing you grab to pull the drawer open hardly ever gets cleaned.
Huh.
The area behind your sink faucet doesn't get cleaned much. Ours does in our bathroom. I clean when I tidy up the
every place behind the sink faucet gets cleaned. I always clean.
I do that too because that's an area that I see things back there. I'm like, why don't we do that? So I wipe it up a lot. Reusable storage containers. So if it's a container that you reuse over and over and over, they don't get cleaned as well as they're supposed to. And the top of your refrigerator door.
Oh, I've
never really thought to do that, but I have to check and see how disgusting that is. Maybe I'll lose weight if I quit going into that refrigerator. I'm a bit of a germaphobe. I don't know.
See, I'm not.
I don't like germs. I don't know what it is. I just don't like germy things.
Yeah.
I'm not into that. I know it doesn't bother some people, but it bothers me. All right, this is a Wednesday, and you are listening to the John and Heidi Show. We appreciate you doing that. Coming up in a bit, we're going to talk about some things that you need to know if you know an expectant mom. We've got a product that you need to hear about. This is an interesting thing. I'd never even thought about it, but expectant mothers, stick around. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com. They only get paid if they help you sell your RV. If you're buying an RV, you can find great deals at RVRealtor.com. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
If you are an expectant mother, pay attention. If you know an expectant mother, be sure to tell her about this. Belly armor for laptop-loving moms-to-be. Never really thought about this. Have you?
Oh, I suppose. The radiation.
Yeah. Did you know that your laptop is just as dangerous to your unborn baby as a microwave?
Uh-huh.
So what do you do if you use a laptop and you're expecting a child? Well, a company has come up with a solution. I didn't really know that this was a thing. But
it's a great idea.
if you're expecting a child, you're not supposed to stand in front of a microwave or have an X-ray or anything like that. But updating your Facebook status could be just as bad for your child. Turns out you might be unknowingly exposing your baby bun in the oven to radiation if you're doing things on a laptop. Considering how many of us now use computers, that's almost everybody. There's some that don't, but most of us. There's a new product, luckily, that can help ensure that you'll safely use the laptop while having that little baby on the way as well. It's called Belly Armor Blanket. It's a cute name.
It's a good idea.
And it's a blanket that you drape over your baby bump while you're typing away on your laptop. Think of it as a giant lead-lined blanket that you can use when you're getting an X-ray. You know, those things that you use? It's that kind of thing, but it's for your baby bump. BellyArmor.com is where you go, and it's retails for anywhere from $69 to $109. This is something that would be the perfect thing to give for a baby shower, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because don't they do those? They don't wait till the baby's born, do they? Don't they do those while you're still expecting? Because once the baby's born, it's probably a little too late. But
I don't know.
So if you have somebody,
it's a great idea, though.
It is. And it's $69 to $109. BellyArmor.com. We're not getting paid to talk about this, by the way.
We're not. You should tell your sister about
this. I should.
This.
I don't know if I'm going to be an aunt or an uncle, but
you're going to be an uncle.
Am I? Okay.
Yes. It's a boy.
Oh, if it was a girl, would I be an aunt?
You'd be an aunt.
No, I think I'd still be an aunt. All right. I'll be a monkey's uncle. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1 plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
As we're winding things down for the program, I got an interesting story here. This is the time of year that a lot of seniors in high school, you know, they're wrapping up. Some kids are out of school. Some are getting out of school this week. Some are getting out next week. But over the next couple weeks and the last few weeks, this, depending on where you live, this is the time kids get out of school. And this is also the time that some seniors like to pull little pranks. According to Fox News, students at one high school in Arizona took things to a whole new level by pranking it forward, doing good deeds and helping others. After star baseball player Mason Kondik was diagnosed a month ago with stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma, a month ago is when he was diagnosed, students began raising money to help with his medical expenses. Last week, as Mason made his return to campus, a special rally was held to present him with over $2,000.
Oh.
So instead of pranking people, they said, hey, you know what, we're not going to prank you if you pay us to go towards this thing.
That's nice.
So that is really cool. So
that
it's
is
good.
Nice.
You know, it just warms the heart to see the next generation.
Young kids doing good things.
Doesn't that just feel awesome?
It's awesome.
You know, it's so cool when you see a young man or a young woman do the right thing.
Yep,
I
agree.
don't remember what channel I was watching the other day, but I was watching a program, and there was a public service announcement. And it was there was this kid, and you saw him, like, getting off a bus. He jumped off a bus holding a purse, running.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And then there was a policeman that saw him doing this, and this guy's running through the streets carrying a purse, and this policeman was kind of pulling up by him, and he ran through an alley, and he pulled up, and this officer pulled right up when this kid said, ma'am, hey, you left your bus, you left this purse on the bus.
You showed me that commercial. That was a good one.
And I was like, oh, how cool is that?
You got all teary-eyed and weepy.
you
You always do.
And then the police officer said, hey, good job there, buddy. You want a donut? And he gave him a donut. I thought that was funny. But I was like, you know what? It is so cool to see the next generation do something nice.
It is.
And that just warms the heart. So I'm so happy for these students in Arizona at the high school that did that. Very, very nice.
Good kids.
Definitely. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. We'll talk to you again tomorrow for another edition of the John and Heidi Show. And for those of you who listen to our podcast, guess what we have coming up?
The extra break.
Yeah, we have a bonus break, but guess what we're going to talk about?
What's that?
We're going to talk about, should have maybe planned ahead. Going to be talking about the best time of day to do different things.
Okay.
So the best time of day to clean your house, the best time of day to take a nap, the best time of day to take a multivitamin, the best time of day to walk your dog, to do a cardio workout. There's a whole bunch of them on here.
Okay.
But Real Simple Magazine came up with the best time of day for so many things. So we're going to have those in our bonus break from Sprecher.com. You can check that out. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Here we are with our bonus break, and as promised, I have for you the best time of day for all of these different things. You know when the best time of day to listen to our program is?
Any time of the day.
Exactly. Anytime you want to listen.
Especially right now.
With the podcast. If you're listening now, you picked the very best time to listen. All right. The best time of day to clean your house is 4 p.m. It says you're more likely to whistle while you wash your windows and not kick the bucket if you do it in the late afternoons. That's when hand-eye coordination is at its peak and mood levels are high.
Really?
Yeah. For you, that's a little too late. You already started drinking wine by then. The best time of day to take a nap is 1 p.m. till 2:30, so an hour and a half nap. Doctors think afternoon sleepiness was a result of a big lunch, but now they said in the early afternoon there's a dip in body temperature, and that's what causes sleepiness. So from 1 to 2:30, take a little nap.
Huh.
Best time of day for a multivitamin? Breakfast time. Take your supplements with a meal. That's important because vitamins are components of food. So whether water-soluble or fat-soluble, they are absorbed better with food. So have them with your breakfast. Best time of day to take the dog for a walk. Guess what time?
Afternoon.
8 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Wow.
Because to you, walking the dog may be about exercise. To him or her, it's about social life because owners have more time to stroll in the evening to let their pets linger over exciting smells and sounds and things like that. Fido is happier if you do it in the evenings. Huh. Evening walks also let him or her avoid midday overheating and makes him or her, it says him in every one of these, him or her.
That makes sense.
More comfortable.
That it gets hot during the day.
And it makes them more comfortable because they go out for their little walk and then they come home and they get to do some resting. What about the best time of day for you to do your cardio workout? Wouldn't it be great if it was the same time as the walking the dog? It's not.
Probably not.
5 p.m. to 6 p.m. At these times, they say that your lungs use oxygen the most efficiently, and you're more coordinated, and your muscles are warmed up, so you're less likely to suffer from sprains or strains. Finishing exercises at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime are important too, because that extra adrenaline will no longer be pumping through your bloodstream. If you exercise too late, it's hard to fall asleep.
Well.
When is the best time of day to go to the post office?
Not first thing in the morning because it's going to be busy.
Well, 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. is what they say. Find out when your post office opens, generally between 7 and 9. Arrive a half hour later than that. You're going to hit that mid-morning lull, missing the rush of the early birds that were waiting there. And the heavy traffic is most likely at lunchtime or at the end of the workday. So go before lunch, but after they open.
Well, there you go.
The best time of day to return merchandise, 10 a.m. So if you ever have something that you need to return, don't do it after work. Do it at 10 a.m. Then again, if you're working at 10 a.m., I don't know how you're going to do that. The best time of day to go to the doctor, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. You know why?
Why?
You'll spend less time in the waiting room if you're the first appointment of the morning or if you're the first one after the lunch break.
I see. I suppose.
Best time of day to ask for a raise. If you want, to get paid.
This is helpful information.
5 p.m. The key is finding a moment when your boss is not rushed and has time to truly listen. That's most likely the end of their day.
Hey, John, can I schedule a meeting today at 5 p.m.?
No. And you can't have raise either. Best time of day to get a haircut. What time?
Why would there be a best time of day? Does your hair grow faster at a certain time of day?
8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And it's because they say if you book the first appointment, you're going to have, you'll ease into the shampoo bowl on time. And that's because no latecomers have thrown off the schedule. So they're saying get there, be the first, and that way you're going to be on time. You don't have to worry about,
sense.
I'm still working on Mildred's hair, so I'll get to yours in a second. You know when I do my haircut? About
at home,
6 a.m.
Anytime you want.
About 6 a.m. When I wake up, I just buzz those clippers.
Yep, and then I get to clean up the hair. When
You do not. I clean up the hair.
Hair fliggins everywhere.
Don't you dare start with me. Best time of day to fly around. Let me try that again. The best time of day to fly is around noon.
Okay.
Department of Transportation Statistics. We really should quit drinking.
Best time of day to do a radio show?
Not now. The U.S. Department of Transportation Statistics, I still can't say this. I slowed down and I still messed it up. Those guys say that flights taking off between 6 and 7 a.m. have the best on-time record. Those are sometimes misleading, though. They say on time refers to when the plane pushes back from the gate. You can wait on the tarmac for hours because of weather problems. They say scheduling arrivals and departures between 11 a.m. and 1 local time is the best because that's when you avoid the most delay-causing weather patterns.
Well, then.
They're saying too early in the day and too late in the day, you're going to have weather issues, but during the middle of the day, that's best time. And finally, the best time of day to read something and retain the info is when?
Morning.
8 a.m. or 10 p.m. Kind of sounds weird. It's quite a variation.
That's quite a drastic difference, isn't it?
It says here, if you're going over notes for today's presentation or if you're memorizing the names of your child's classmates' parents before the school open house tonight, do it early in the morning when your immediate recall is the highest. For longer retention, like something that you want to know forever and ever and ever, long-term storage, do that at 10 p.m. You'll remember that longer. But if you just need to know for today, 8 a.m.
Huh.
There you go. That's probably why I remember things, because I always put things off until the very last minute. So it's like 10 p.m. is when I'm actually finishing things up, and then I never forget things.
That's why.
Ever. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse. All right. I can't really remember what I'm talking about right now. We're all done. That was the best times of the day to do all those different things from Real Simple Magazine. Do you have anything you want to add to the podcast? Because you never really...
Not today. I didn't know you were going to give me an opportunity to add something, so I will try to have something ready for tomorrow.
And I forgot to do our quote the last couple days. I keep forgetting to do that. I keep thinking I'm going to add these fun things, and then I forget to do them. So I'll quote Charles Leroy Nelson I, and his quote is, "Don't eat yellow snow." That I asked for words of wisdom, and he said, "Don't pee in the wind." That was his other words of wisdom.
Yeah, that's my father. For
Tuesdays with Charlie. It's his words of wisdom. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for listening. And I'm going to make sure Heidi starts adding something to the podcast. That'd be fun for you to be every day to do something during the bonus break.
Maybe I can do a deep thought by Jack Handy every day
those
again.
are fun.
We used to do those for a while.
Why'd we quit doing that?
I don't know.
I think you just quit doing it one day and we never went back.
I'll start doing that.
It's like Dear John
I'll have
letters.
a new deep thought every
Do you remember
day.
when we used to do Dear John letters?
I do. We should do those
We
again
should
as
again.
well.
And it was
Those
so
are
much fun. And we just quit doing it for no particular reason. It just quit happening.
Just quit.
Maybe we'll do that
We should
too.
do that.
All right. Well, there's a lot of things we should do. Like end this podcast right now.